Right, so I'm back, and I'm obviously wearing my Mexico jersey because, well, I completely forgot, but today was actually the World Cup group stage draw. A little bit early. I mean, we're still in April, and the World Cup is going to take place in December of this year, but still, it's got many of us fans hyped, including myself. And can I just say, it's interesting. All of these groups look very interesting. There's a few difficult choices, and yes, I'm still a bit sick, but that's besides the point. I'm feeling much better than before. But anyways, there's quite a few things that I want to say, but mostly I want to say that my top three teams that I'm rooting for in this World Cup is definitely Mexico, because it is my parents' home nation, and obviously I resonate a lot with them. Of course, I'm also rooting for Argentina because Lionel Messi, of course, plays for them, and it will be his final World Cup. And last but not least, I will also be rooting for Spain because obviously I am a Barcelona fan, and there's a lot of Barcelona players there, and obviously Barcelona is located in Spain. But anyways, those are my top three teams, but there's still a few opinions that I have about several other nations that I quite love and would honestly root for whenever they play, as long as they're not playing against the top 30 teams that I am rooting for, if that makes sense. Let's just move on to my opinions about each group and kind of my early predictions for this World Cup. But yeah, let's head on into group number one. So obviously, group number one, or group A, has obviously the host nation, Qatar, has Ecuador, has Senegal, and the Netherlands. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to say Netherlands is going to win this group. Obviously, they haven't been the greatest. I believe their manager is Louis van Gaal, and that can change from here to December. I am going to make another prediction video once it's closer to the actual World Cup. But, I mean, this is a pretty interesting group. I think it's going to be Netherlands, and then it's going to be between Qatar and Senegal to make second place. And then, unfortunately, I think Ecuador will take fourth. Ecuador is a solid team, and I think they can cause some problems. I think they will cause some problems either beating or drawing against either Qatar or... honestly, they could draw against any team. I'm changing up my whole predictions everywhere. But anyways, I think Ecuador can be a definite problem for the rest of these three teams. But I still think Netherlands will just squeak out a victory against them. Or quite comfortably. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But either way, I think Netherlands can definitely make it through either first or second. I think personally first place. And I think Senegal will actually take the second place, despite Qatar being in their home nation and being the hosts. But I don't know. I still see them making it. I still see Senegal actually making it, because I feel like some African nation, if it's going to be one African nation, it might be this one to actually make it into the knockout stages and even progress even further. But yeah, those are my kind of predictions, but definitely an interesting group. I will gladly watch the Netherlands play because Barcelona has quite a few Dutch players, and there's a lot of Dutch players that I really like. But yeah. Anyways, on to Group B. So Group B, honestly, this is one of the most balanced sides. I would say not balanced, but maybe just, again, interesting. I think all of these groups are so interesting. We have England, we have Iran, we have USA, and we have the European playoff. That's obviously Scotland or Ukraine or Wales. Now, it's between Scotland and Ukraine. They'll face off against each other to see who will face off against Wales, and between them two, they will make it into the World Cup. I personally think it will be... I don't know. I honestly don't know who it could be. I think all three of their teams are around the same level, and I think all three of them will pose a strong challenge up against England and the United States to try to push for second place, possibly even first. And yes, I did not say Iran because I feel like Iran will finish from fourth. They are a decent nation. Obviously, I don't know much about them, but I feel like they are just going to finish in fourth because the powerhouses. But anyways, I think England will top this group quite comfortably. I say quite comfortably because they have the most stacked squad. USA hasn't been the greatest, and any of the three teams that can qualify from the playoffs, it will be difficult because they don't have as much depth as England does. So I think England will finish in first. Second place will be between USA and whoever makes it into the World Cup, which I think it'll be Scotland. Although I'm rooting more for Ukraine, obviously, but I think Scotland will make it through because it will make some interesting group if it'll be England and Scotland within the same group. I think that'll be very interesting. And if Scotland make it through and go into the World Cup, I think they can take second from the United States. But I don't know. I'm rooting for England and the United States to make it through, and I think that's what will happen. And unfortunately, the European playoff team will be in third. But yeah. Anyways, on to the next group. So Group C now, obviously this is the one that I'm most interested in because we had Argentina right off the bat becoming the first team of Group C, and I'm like, okay, let's see who Argentina gets in the group. And obviously right off the bat from pot 2 was my home nation, Mexico. And I mean, I was hoping we got some pretty okay / weaker sides, and luckily we kind of did. We got Poland and we got Saudi Arabia. Now, I'm rooting for Argentina and Mexico, as I said before. I'm rooting for Mexico first and then Argentina, but wow, I didn't expect them to be in the same group. And now that they are, I'm quite happy about it because I feel like Argentina will definitely make it through in first place while Mexico finishes in second, despite Poland having a pretty strong squad. And Saudi Arabia, while they can be a threat at times, I don't really see them finishing higher than fourth. I think it'll be the real competition will be between Mexico and Poland to finish in second, although I think the very crucial game will be that very first game of Group C, which will be Mexico versus Poland. I think that game will be very, very important to see who finishes in second or even in first, because I feel like Argentina can definitely beat all of the other three teams because they have been on good form. Messi is while he is declining in his form at PSG, I feel like it's his last World Cup, so he's gonna be inspired and he's gonna put in his all. And obviously his teammates are gonna do the same thing because they want Messi to win the World Cup and they want to win the World Cup for themselves and for their nation. Of course, that's what they want to do, and they have been playing quite fantastically. Of course, their draw against Ecuador wasn't the greatest, but I still see Argentina being a major contender for this entire World Cup, but I'll leave that for later. But anyways, I think Argentina will finish in first, Mexico will finish in second, Poland in third, and obviously Saudi Arabia in fourth. Although the Mexico versus Poland game will be very interesting, and I will definitely be tuning into that one as soon as the World Cup starts. Group D now, obviously the main team of the tournament. Well, I say main team mostly because they won the last World Cup, France. They were in this group. They are in this group, and it's France, another playoff. It's the first intercontinental playoff, and then it'll be Denmark and Tunisia who round up the rest of the group. And I feel like this is another interesting group. I think all of these groups are very intriguing and just enticing. You want to watch these groups because the levels are just slightly different but also very similar. But with this one, I think it's quite obvious who should go through or who will go through. I think personally it'll be France obviously topping it, and I think it'll be Denmark going through, just like in the 2018 World Cup, if I'm not mistaken. I believe they were both in the same group and they both made it through. Yeah, hopefully it's not as boring as it was last time. If I got it correct, it was 0-0 between France and Denmark. But yeah, I think it'll be a more interesting game, and France is another one of those big contenders that I will definitely be looking out for. I'm not rooting for them, but I do love watching them play, and they have fantastic players that I personally love watching, so I will be watching their games, and I will be kind of rooting for them, but not to win the entire thing, if that makes sense. But anyways, I think France will top, then it'll be Denmark, and then it'll be the intercontinental playoff, or Tunisia finishing in third and fourth respectively. Honestly, I can see it going either way because although they're quite strong, and I personally think that Peru will win the playoff between Australia versus UAE or Peru, something like that. I think Peru will make it through, either that or Australia. And if it's Australia, wouldn't that make it very similar to the 2018 World Cup group? I think it will be. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is that the playoff will probably finish in third, while Tunisia finishes fourth, and obviously France and Denmark finish in first and then second respectively. Group E now, people are saying this might be the group of death. It started off as the group of death, but I don't think it's the group of death anymore. Mostly down to the last two teams that entered it. But obviously it started with the third team that I'm rooting for, España, Spain. Spain. This is what I'm trying to say. But Spain and Germany are both in this group, and I think they're the strongest contenders in this group, obviously. And alongside with that, it could be either Costa Rica or New Zealand, which I think Costa Rica will actually beat New Zealand and be able to make it to the World Cup. And I think they will unfortunately finish in fourth while still causing some problems to the rest of the group, because they have not lacked skill or talent in any way. They've always put in good performances in the World Cup, and I think they can definitely put in a good performance in this World Cup. But I still think that Spain will top the group, Germany finish in second, and Japan finish in third. Although I am kind of rooting for Japan because, well, I'm an anime lover and I love Japanese culture, basically for that. But also they have some really exciting talent like Takefusa Kubo and I forgot his name. Oh my god. Hiroki Abe. I'm not sure if he's playing for the national team, but if he does, I'm definitely looking out for them. But anyways, I think this is a pretty solid group, but I think Spain and Germany will make it through. That's just my initial thoughts, but depending on how things go, I think maybe Japan could put in a great shout for second place. But anyways, we'll see as the World Cup comes around. But anyways, on to the next group. Group F now, and can I just say this group is I was gonna say interesting again, because yes, I find this group very interesting. Maybe not the most balanced, but I think it's very interesting because we have Belgium, we have Canada, we have Morocco, and we have Croatia. Now, Croatia made it to the final last World Cup. Belgium made it to the semifinal. We have Canada, who's also playing really well, and then we have Morocco, who's also pretty, what's it called? A dark horse, can be a dark horse in this group. I mean, not only in this group, but in the whole tournament. Same with Canada. I think they're both pretty big dark horses in this whole tournament. But that being said, I think it'll be Belgium topping the group. And while I think Canada and Morocco are great teams, Croatia may be a little too strong. But just for Morocco, because I'm actually thinking that Canada will make it through, being in second place. I think they could cause an upset against Croatia and maybe beat them by a very slim margin, but still beat them to make it into the second place and go through to the knockout stages. This is Canada's first World Cup in quite a long time, definitely in my lifetime, because, well, I'm very young either way. But anyways, I still think Canada can actually make it because they want to be in this tournament for as long as possible because they haven't been here in quite a while. But yeah, and while Croatia did make the final, they didn't win. And their best players are getting quite older. So, yeah, it's not looking nice for Croatia. But Morocco also looks quite good, but I don't know. Yeah, I'll say Belgium, then Canada, then Croatia, then Morocco. Yeah. Group G now, and okay, this is nearly a carbon copy from last World Cup. Like, in 2018, I believe Brazil had nearly the exact same group. I'll put them both up right here, but it's Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and in this World Cup, it is Cameroon. I can't remember who was last World Cup, but anyways, very similar, and I think it'll finish quite similarly to last World Cup. I think Brazil will win it, and Switzerland can make it through, but Serbia definitely has a chance, and honestly, so does Cameroon. I think it's going to be a three-way battle for that second place spot. It's tough. It's definitely a tough one. But just on my initial thoughts, I'm going to go with... but Cameroon... I don't know who to go for. I'm going to go with Cameroon. Cameroon to finish in second. And Serbia to finish in third, and Switzerland to finish for fourth. I'm saying that now, but I'm probably going to change that later on, but yeah. Yeah, I'm going to go with Switzerland fourth, Serbia third, and Cameroon second with Brazil in first, yeah. That's just my initial predictions. I'm going to make another one further on in the year, like once it's closer to the actual World Cup, but yeah. Now, last but not least, we have Group H, and this one is the most balanced group. I was about to say it for Group B, but no, it's actually Group H that I personally think is the most balanced, because we have Portugal, we have Ghana, we have Uruguay, and we have South Korea / the Korea Republic. Now, this this group, obviously people would just want to say Portugal straight through. And I will say Portugal straight through. Not sure in first place though. It's going to be really tough. But I am actually going to put them in first place as well. I'm going to put them in first place. I just am, because Portugal, they are a fantastic team. But it's also Ronaldo's last World Cup. It's most likely his last World Cup. So he's going to fight as hard as he can to just make it as far as he can and try to push for the title. He wants the World Cup before he retires. It's simple logic. He wants to win this World Cup because it could be his last, and it most likely is his last. So he's going to try his absolute hardest. And the Portugal squad is definitely stacked to the brim. So I'm definitely going for Portugal. It won't be easy, but I'm thinking Portugal in first place. I think they'll finish off with 7, maybe 5 points, barely. So I think this group will have the most draws out of any group. And I think I want to go with Uruguay, because Uruguay did make it through last. I think they made it all the way to the quarterfinals, knocking out Portugal and Ronaldo in the round of 16, if I'm not mistaken. But I still think I don't know. I don't know who it could be in that second place, because honestly, I can see all 4 of these teams going through. But honestly, I'm gonna go for. You know what? I'm going for South Korea to make it through. It's going to be Portugal, then South Korea, and Uruguay and Ghana to make it in 3rd and 4th, respectively. So Portugal, South Korea, Uruguay, Ghana. I think Ghana is a definitely stacked team. They're pretty good, and they can definitely cause some problems, but I don't really see them. They are strong though. I don't. This is tough. I'm definitely going to change most of my predictions, if not some of them. But yeah, those teams are hopefully going through. We'll see. But yeah, this is definitely the most interesting group, and that one's going to be the group that I look out for, apart from like the other ones that I mentioned. But anyways, that's been it. Those are my final thoughts, or my first thoughts, initial thoughts on this World Cup group stage draw. So, yeah. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys just stuck around for this long. But if you did, please do like and subscribe. Hopefully my next video will be a FIFA video, because it turns out you guys actually like those. So, yeah. I've recorded a few in advance, and they will be coming out hopefully soon. But yeah, I just wanted to make this video because, I mean, I completely forgot that this happened. But I wanted to share my thoughts on, well, the group stage draw. So, but anyways, those are my final thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed. I already said that. But anyways, I will catch you guys later. Lates.